Adulting, and thanks for being here. Let's see. Yeah, we're pumping this out all over the place. Look, if you are new, advanced adulting is a place for helping grown-ass adults navigate midlife. All of the shifts and changes and transformations and things that every single one of us encounter at some point in our life. It could be professionally with your career. It could be relationships. It could be internally as well. But we all go through these things at different stages and at different degrees as well. And so that's what I do here with Advanced Adulting is help you navigate those, whether it's through my own experience, but also I bring in experts in fields from all over the world to help you do that. And so today what we're going to talk about is the professional side of things, your career, because especially if you are over 50, really if you're over 40, you're considered old now. I know, like it or not, but you are considered old, and finding a job, whether it is changing careers and making a complete pivot, or whether it is just looking for a job, it's tough. And the rules that a lot of us have known throughout our career or grew up playing by professionally, they don't exist anymore. And so you got to do a lot of things differently. And for a frame of reference here, I'm a 50-something, had a birthday 2 days ago. But I am a 5-time author, 2-time bestseller, and for over 15 years, I was a recruiter, a headhunter, placing senior executives all around the country. I was partner at one of the big search firms, and so I've been in the rooms. I know what certain things mean. I've done a big piece recently on ageism, and you know what? That's a real deal. It exists. And what I want to share with you today is something from, I was asked recently to be on the advisory board or expert board for a women's magazine in the UK. And they asked me to write a story for them, helping people over 50 in their job search. And so I came up with 11 things that you need to know. And they're pretty direct. Okay. So I'm going to, we can go as far as in depth and anything that we want, but I'm going to go over these right now to at least give you something to think about. And quite frankly, some of them are going to be a little counterintuitive to what you've heard, because again, the rules have changed. And the idea is one, to get you a job, but to get you noticed, because right now, especially for people who have gray hair or no hair or wrinkles, it's hard getting noticed. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I encourage you, two things. I encourage you to use the chat. I encourage you to subscribe to whatever platform you're watching me on here. And also leave a comment, okay? Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, if you've experienced any of this, if you have a question. And then also below, I'm going to be putting 2 links. I'm going to be putting a link to that original article that I wrote so you can see that in depth. And the second thing is this. And then I'll tell you all the 11 things. The last thing is, if you, or maybe someone you know, is going through a job search right now. Okay. You've been looking. I was coaching somebody this morning. They've been looking for almost a year and a half, and they just now started working with me. So we're going to change that. But if you've been looking for a job, if you have recently been laid off, displaced, rift, whatever, or if you are just thinking, I need a career change, I need a pivot here, and I want to do that by the end of the year, within the next 90 days, then listen up. This is for you. And then I want you to definitely check out one of the links below, because I have an opportunity for you to work one-on-one with me for the next 90 days as your coach, mentor, advisor, Yoda, and not just the typical, let's rewrite your resume. That's bullshit. It's, look, how do we tell your story, your unique story of where you're at, how you got to this place? How do you identify what your next move is going to be? How do we identify what those organizations are, who in those organizations you need to contact, and get you in front of them and get you noticed? That's it. Check it out below. Okay. So with that, let's talk about what really to do to get you noticed. Okay. So, the first thing I want to talk about is this idea of LinkedIn. Okay. Number one, and why this is important too, just so you know, I mean, if you're not experiencing it, this is two important stats. Over 73%, a recent study found that over 73% of working women want to change careers. Okay. They're unhappy and they want to change careers. And at the same time, you've had Korn Ferry, the largest search firm on planet Earth. They did a white paper and claimed that Gen X may be considered the new unemployables. Okay. Isn't that a kick in the ass, right? Just when you're trying to figure it all out, you may be unemployable, and work is going to change. That's a whole different video of what work is going to look like. But what we're going to do is try and give you some things that you can give you a real picture of what you can do. Number one, the bullshit LinkedIn advice is not really enough for job hunting. And why I say that, and I know it's probably popping up on LinkedIn right now, but the deal is this. There's no shortage of well-meaning people, hopeful, wishful people who are offering overly simplistic advice on LinkedIn. Update your skills, refresh your resume, show and demonstrate that you can work with other generations. Okay, not bad, just useless. Okay, that's the bare minimum. That's the cover charge. Okay, that thinking is not going to get you to stand out. Okay, because it's delusional. And too many people, oh, well, I'll rewrite my resume, I'll get a certification. Tough shit. If nobody sees it, it doesn't matter. Okay, if nobody sees it, it doesn't matter. Which leads me to number two. A real human being may never even ever see your resume or your information for a number of reasons, okay? And this is where it gets tricky. Technology, timing, sheer volume of things. The technology, look, you know, who hasn't applied for something online and to immediately get filtered out or a thanks but no thanks response, okay? You know a human never saw it. You get the response 5 minutes later there at 3 a.m. But the other thing is timing, okay? A lot of it is the timing. Let's say they've been looking for 30 days and they already have a ton of people. They're well on their way in the process, and you apply. It doesn't matter if you have the cure for cancer or Jesus himself. They're already done. They're not really going to push you in there, okay? It's not anything that's important. And the reason is because the recruiters, the HR folks, they have so much going on, oftentimes 30, 40, 50 job recs that they're working at one time. So they just have their people in and they're on the next thing. So sad but true. They're not really, you come late to the game, it's tough. And the other is just the volume. It's like I said, they're working so many recs. There are employers I know who they're getting over 1,000 resumes and apps for one position. If you go on LinkedIn, right, something will be open for like a day, sometimes hours, and it'll be shut down. And the reason is because they just don't have the volume or the bandwidth to be able to deal with that. So what happens is, hey, great, I got my 5 good people. I know the best person might be in the slush pile over here, but not even gonna deal with that because I have them in. Boom, on to the next thing. Okay. Number 3, employers are not seeing the bigger picture. Okay. Let's be real. Recruiters and employers are pretty short-sighted and selfishly, and that's okay because they're not thinking about the big picture when they're looking at your resume because there's so much going on. Okay. They are looking for a square peg and a square hole. That is it. And they don't have the time. It's not their job, nor do they have the desire to dig through your resume and see that, oh, well, 3 positions ago, you did something that could be transferred and relatable to this. Okay. They don't care. Okay. And so what do you do about this? You have to connect the dots for them. It is your job to spell it out to them and talk to them like a 3rd grader for real. Because too many older job seekers think, well, they should see the value in my resume and my experience. Horseshit. They're just not going to because they will never make it to the mid part of your resume. Okay. They're just not going to. So it's your job to be able to spell it out for them. Okay. Employers don't want to have, they want the path of least resistance. Okay. They don't want to have to do the work of figuring out, well, maybe you could do this because, hey, I got a job. I need it filled right now. And I need a square hole, square peg. That's the way it is. Nobody cares what you want. I know that sounds really harsh, but it kind of dovetails off the other thing I mentioned. When it comes to your resume and cover letter, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit that you want to use your experience and education and skills in a collaborative, team-oriented environment to reach company goals. Yawn, okay? Big yawn, but it's also, what about me? I don't care about your education. I don't care what you want, okay? Really, first blush, what I care about is this. I care about what do you do? Where have you done it? How well have you done it? And what does it mean for me? That is it. And honestly, if you can state that, that's not some flowery bullshit objective or summary. That's it. I want you to think about it like dating or like baseball or whatever. I have a 6'2" left-handed middle reliever. Okay. I have a 5'3" blonde yoga instructor from Georgia. Okay. I have a 6 foot dark-headed attorney that went to Yale. Okay, great. You see what I mean? And as shallow as that sounds, we think like that, okay? We think like that in a lot of things, especially here in this idea of recruiting. First pass, make it easy for me. What's an engineer? I'm looking for a CRM expert. I'm looking for a salesperson, okay? Who are you? What do you do? Where'd you do it? How well did you do it? What can you do for me? That's it. Okay. Number 5, ditch the job sites and the apps. Look, it is a necessary evil. Again, kind of like dating. You know what? You can find something online. There's lots of different ways to meet people. Okay. And so one of the worst things you can do is solely rely on the job postings and apps and think that is the extended universe of everything, because it will be depressing, hardcore depressing. Truth is, a lot of roles are never advertised. That's no secret. But you're wasting your time scrolling through the job boards and waiting on either technology or someone to pull you out of the pile. I'm going to stand out just by this. Bullshit. What you need to do is you need to find a real human being, a living, breathing human being, someone who has the power and ability to say yes, a decision maker, okay? Because oftentimes it's those lower level people, or recruiters, HR, right in the beginning there, who all they can do is say no. All they can do is eliminate you. They can't say yes, okay? And so the person who actually has the power control to say something probably never sees your stuff. So ditch those apps and go straight to the source. We'll talk more in a second. Number 6, call out the elephant in the room, okay, which is your age, okay? Again, no hair, gray hair, wrinkles. People know you're old. People know by reading your resume. And I've had people say, well, should I shave my beard? Should I dye my hair? Should I cut off positions? Look, they're going to figure it out someday. The moment you get on a Zoom call, they're going to figure out you're not 27 years old, okay? So here's my point. My strategy on this is address it head on, okay? They're thinking about it. The moment they see you, the moment they figure it out, they're thinking about it. So don't try and hide it. It just makes stuff weird, okay? Show up with energy, enthusiasm, experience, and don't act like age isn't a factor. Own it. Don't let them speculate. See, what happens is everybody's going to be thinking, or they will, and the moment you leave the room, the moment you hang up that phone, the Zoom call, whatever, you have no way to make your case. None. So take control. So there's a lot of ways you can express your wisdom and experience or anything, but they're scared of those things, okay? Ageism occurs like, well, he's going to make too much money. Why would he want to take this job that is beneath them? She's overqualified. And so if you just address it right on, hey, you know what? A lot of people might think, hey, because I've done this, why would I take a position like this? Or, a lot of people think, hey, I've made a lot of money in the past. Why would I do this? Let me tell you, take control, take charge, because they're thinking it. Okay. Interviews, ask the tough questions. This is number 7. Don't just sit there answering questions. Ask questions yourself. And I don't mean, well, tell me about the team and tell me about, what the job's going to do and, what are my responsibilities? Yeah, basic. But I mean, go hardcore, okay? Hardcore. This is not interrogation. It's your opportunity to see. And also, if you're smart enough and good on your feet, you can start to craft your answers on this. So you ask questions early on. You don't just wait until the end. Well, so do you have any questions? You're screwed at that point, okay? Ask these early on. Say, hey, look, I'm here for you. I want to answer anything you have, but I have a few questions as well. And you start having a dialogue, not an interview. But questions like, hey, why is this position open? How long has it been open? What happened? Where's the person that went before? What does success look like to you in this role to you? Who makes it in this organization? One of my favorites, what concerns you or scares you about hiring me? Okay. Now, they may not give you an honest answer on that. Oh, well, nothing's fine. We have a lot of candidates to consider. That's all bullshit. But it's the idea of, if someone's honest, they'll go, you know what? I think you're going to leave. I think because you're too experienced, you've been doing this forever, you're going to take this job, and the moment something else goes, that looks good, you're out of here. I think you make too much money. I think that's what you're going to want. I don't know if you're going to be happy here doing. If they tell you that, you can address it right there, okay? And for a whole separate thing on that, go to my YouTube video on overqualified, okay? Hidden ageism among Gen X and older job seekers. It's awesome, okay? So I'll give you the answers for that. Number 8, stop saying you're a quick learner. That is the absolute dumbest, worst thing you can say. You may be, and that's great, and that's awesome. But I think it's one of the I'm a quick learner. I pick things up quickly. I'm fast. Even if it's true, it makes you sound scattered, unfocused, and frankly, old, okay? So focus on, what you've done and the value you bring, okay? Because here's the dirty truth, okay? Quick learner. Great. You know what? I don't have time. I don't want to teach you anything. If I am going to teach somebody that, I'm going to find somebody 26 years old who is going to make next to dirt who I don't have to deal with. Okay. So, let's see. Number 9, it's okay to break the rules. I know HR people are going to flame me on this and come out of their skull, but here's the deal. Don't be afraid to bypass HR or the recruiter and go straight to someone who has the power to say yes. Okay. Who actually understands the position, or if you get into conversation, what you can really bring to the table. Again, and I'm kind of bagging but good-heartedly on the lower level HR people, because one, they truly are overworked. They truly do have too much on their plate. And their thing is just, I got to put butts in seats. That's it. They're not sitting there evaluating, hey, and they're not going to go to bat for you. They're not going to go to war for you. Hey, you know what? Hey, they're not going to go up against some senior VP. Hey, look, you really need to take a look at Susie Q over here because she's awesome. And I know it doesn't see it on the resume, but not going to happen. Outside recruiter might, okay? But if you're worried about ruffling feathers, because we are that last generation of rule followers. Yeah, we're Gen X. We're drank from a water hose and we're hard. But you know what? We're going to do what's supposed to do here. Look, if your resume isn't going to be seen or considered, you have two choices. You can follow the protocol and risk getting ignored and never hear from anybody, or you can take matters in your own hands. Okay. And I think you're a grown ass adult. And the idea is nobody is going to advocate for you or be your biggest fan cheerleader than you will. They're just not. Okay. So look, if you're going to piss somebody off down there, who cares? If it's never going to be seen, go straight to the top. And again, so what's it going to be? You're going to take control, make things happen. You're going to wait for someone else to give you an answer. That's it. Number 10, use every tool in your toolbox. Okay. And what I mean is don't limit yourself just to email alone. Some people say, well, I sent the email and I haven't heard back. Or look, I get 200 plus emails a day. A lot of people do. Some stuff gets filtered. It goes to junk. I'm not a great email guy. There's better ways to reach me. Some people are all about the DMs. Some people are all about text. Okay. Some people, but we think, I reached out to them. I want you to go overboard. I want you to go overboard. And you know what works? Whatever works. And so you try everything. Well, isn't that annoying and redundant? If they never see it, it's not going to be a big deal. And aren't you concerned with just getting somebody, getting in the conversation? So send a DM, social media. Okay. Do not send LinkedIn in mails. Okay. In mails, not meals. They're useless. Nobody looks at them. Okay. They're just not. Okay. There's a lot of people respond to different methods differently. Okay. So check that out. And we're talking about a second. Your idea is not to bombard them with, here's my resume, here's my cover letter, here's this. It's to get noticed and start a conversation. And when you send all that crap there, it ends up really assuming they have an opening, okay? And you want a conversation, okay? Which is number 11. It's about sparking interest and getting a conversation, okay? And remember, I said conversation, not interview. Your goal is not to overwhelm someone. In fact, it's just, you don't care if they have an opening. Okay. You don't, because sometimes if they have an opening and then you just bombard them with, here's my resume and this, and you treat it very formally like that, they're like, oh, I don't have time to mess with this stuff. Great. Talk to HR, go apply online, or great. Another effing job seeker. Okay. I don't want to deal with it. Okay. Instead, remember what I said earlier, go back to here's who I am, what I do, how well I've done it, who I've done it for, and what it means to you. Okay. Your interest is your intent is to generate interest and spark a conversation. Okay. That's it. That's it. Going through them. Yeah. It's a dance. It's a dance. And it's a numbers game. And it really is. And it's something that you need to take control of. I want to say one more thing too. We were talking earlier about how do you reach the right person? And, how do you find these people? How do you reach them? Okay. If I don't have an email, if I don't have a phone number, I can teach you to stalk somebody like a jilted lover. Okay. There are ways to find out not just their corporate email, but regular email, their DMs, their social, their phone numbers, all this. It can be done. Okay. It can be done and it should be done because you're looking at taking control of your career and you're not playing by everybody else's rules and the unwashed masses of humanity that are getting rejected. And you know what? Even if you are, you're not on an equal playing ground because you're older. We's old. Okay, that's it. So you have to take care of yourself. All right. Look, all that said, you are unique. Okay. This is not the uplifting piece, but you are unique. Your background, your skills, your abilities, your experience, what you want, what you do bring to the table. And so the idea is there is no one size fits all on all of this, but crafting your story. Your story is a huge thing. We put too much emphasis on the resume and forget the story that got us here and where we're going and what we can do. Remember that. All right. So in summary, I want you to, subscribe here to this channel, leave a comment, reach out to me and check the links. Okay. One, to see the story, but also the link for if you are going through a job search or if you say, hey, look, I want something different because look, if you decide, hey, I want to change jobs at the beginning of the year, I'll start then. Not going to work. Everybody does that. It's a 90-day process. It really is. Okay. You're going to be dealing with a job interview process for 4 to 6 weeks minimum once you reach somebody. So you got to get ahead of the game now. And if you want to, and not just write my resume, help me, you want accountability, you want a guide, a mentor, an advisor, a coach on this, and someone who has 15 plus years experience and written best-selling books on this to guide you on how do I present myself? Where do I go? Who do I reach? How do I reach them? And how do I put together a strategy and execute that strategy? Then click the link, okay? The 90-day career coach. I'm taking 5 people. That's it, okay? 5 people. So go get it. And that's what I got. So, hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. And let me hear from you. Okay. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.